Good afternoon.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Karina McCormick, PhD, CARINAMCCORMICK. This is my first time testifying in person during this session due to COVID, but I thought that this was really important. And I also noticed how ambitious this bill is, so I really wanted to come put my thoughts behind it and also advocate for continued effort towards this. I'm going to make some other points shortly, but I'd like to start with a story of something that happened to me a couple years ago and how it relates to bail bond. And this is actually how I came to know a lot of what I do know about it. I live just down the street. It's across from the soup kitchen, and one of the customers at the soup kitchen put me in a situation where I was very unsafe. Very reasonable concern for my safety, and of course I had the police come arrest him, and I did want him put away. They knew he didn't have any money, and so they were saying, oh, don't worry, he won't get out because he won't have the money for bail. But that didn't really make me feel better, because if he was going to be in jail, I wanted him to be in jail for what he did, or I wanted him to be sentenced for what he did. And if he was going to be held, I wanted it to be because the judge recognized he was making me unsafe. It wasn't very satisfying to me that the reason he was in jail and the reason he was being held is just because he didn't have $100 because he was homeless. And if he had somehow had some brother, some best friend who happened to give him $100, I would have been made unsafe. And this current law works so much better because the reason he's in jail would have been related to the causes that are laid out in this new proposal, not the fact of whether or not he happened to have $100. And by the time he finally did get the hearing, of course he was found guilty. There was evidence of what he did, but there was barely any of his sentence left. And so that as a victim of a crime, that was actually really anticlimactic for me, because I felt like actually the entire time he'd been in prison was not because of what he did to me, but because he didn't have $100. And I actually ended up feeling almost like I didn't have justice, as the fact that so much of his sentence was only the amount of time before his trial, not after any time that he was found guilty. And well, I know I don't have that much time left actually, but I think it was Senator Lathrop had asked a question to Senator Kavanaugh, who said, do you see having a cash bond as having a disproportionate effect on people of color? And that is not anything like an opinion. That's very clear cut that it does. And you had asked about if the amounts applied are disproportionate, but I would say that even if the amounts applied are equivalent or the exact same dollar amount, that doesn't have the same effect on different people. $100 doesn't mean anything to me. There's nothing in my life that depends on whether or not I have $100. But for these people, $100 is whether or not they can feed their family or pay rent or any of this. And because of that, I think it needs to be eliminated, because we do fully need equality before the law.
Okay. Thanks for coming down. Yeah, we're glad to hear from you.